Charlotte Graham, table setter. She'll also pitch for Westlake on the other side of things defensively. She's been a big key to their success this week, Tony.
Yeah, she's a critical player for them. I mean, how often do you see a starting pitcher leading off a batting lineup? So she's clearly a key player in Fergus McAlpine's Westlake team.
Kai Epa, the pitcher for Westlake, is Graham. And hard hit ball. This is why she's top of the shot, but a great ranging catch at left field by Tui Panui for the first out.
Excellent play all around there, Chopper. She certainly hit that ball, smote it, but the outfielder was well positioned and took the catch. So One Tree Hill seeking their first title under their current name, but they used to be known as Penrose High School, and they won 3 titles back in 1999, 2006 and 2007, and this is their 3rd final under the One Tree Hill banner.
There you go. So a storied history for One Tree Hill at the National Championships. Talia Hurley now, centre fielder. Watches the pitch just go above the zone. So 2 balls on Hurley. 1 away here. Top of the first inning, just underway if you just joined us. It's grand final of the National Secondary Schools Softball Championship. Live here from Ototahi, Christchurch at Dynasty Ballpark. Ball is just low.
So One Tree Hill made the 2017 and 2019 finals and runners-up both times. But in their last season were led by Beth Reed, who's gone on to a college scholarship in the United States, which is an example of the opportunities in women's softball, and has also been in the White Sox. So this tournament is a stepping stone potentially to higher honours for our rangatahi.
Well, stepping stone, stepping her way to first base is Talia Hurley with the walk. That'll bring up Kalani Mariner, looking to post her moment in history. It's been a fantastic 4 days of competition here in Ototahi. A little bit of weather on day one, but today, as you can see, the sun is shining. It couldn't be better for Fast Sports Grand Final softball. 16 degrees Celsius here locally, hitting for a high of 19. I'll tell you what, I don't think that's far away with those blue skies.
Well, you've had 4 seasons in 1 week here, so it's good to end on a high note.
You did right. Tawhiri Mātea was here and showed all of his presence around the motu here in Ototahi, Christchurch. It came in, the weather from the south, and boy, oh boy, it had us on our toes with lots and lots of jackets, that's for sure. Back to the action now. 1 ball and 1 strike to count on Mariner. And slow roller, tough play for Graham. Transfer is good though. Good composure from the shortstop here from One Tree Hill. You see the throw over, nice and strong, but a good reach by the first basewoman. That's Sky Weatherly. Skylar Breeze Joyce is on the mound. Jessie Lee Upu on screen shot there. Brings up to bat though. The big bopper cleanup hitter. It's J.R. Lee. J.R. Lee punches one and it's deep, deep. 1 bounce, 2 bounces to the fence and they'll score as they come around home plate. And J.R. Lee opens the account for Westlake here in the grand final. They lead 1-0.
And that's exactly what this game needed. I mean, One Tree probably went in as favourites, unbeaten in the round robin, but Westlake have got the jump. So exactly what we wanted here, to see a real contest. And we've got one on our hands.
We sure do indeed. One of the great surprise packages for Westlake this week has got to be Lucy Cadmus Aspinall. She goes to the first pitch. They'll have to throw it over to first base, and they do in time. That'll complete the top of the first innings, but it's not before J.R. Lee comes up large for the girls from North Shore. They lead 1-0. We'll be back with the bottom of the first and all the lineups in just a short moment. No mai, hara mai. Welcome back to Ōtautahi Christchurch here to the Kimura Poiuka game of fast pitch softball. It's grand final time here on day 4 of competition. And Westlake girls have just grabbed the lead in the top of the first innings. Let's look at them defensively for you now. Left to right in the outfield for Westlake. They are simply silky, silky, smooth and impressive. Fantastic indeed. Murray, Hurley and Weller. Infield now, Seymour, Cadmus, Aspinall pairing up the middle of Lucy and Neve. Jaya Lee will be at first base. Kalani Mariner, and the starting pitcher is Charlotte Graham. Offensively for One Tree Hill now, nice and quickly. You can see it's Farah, Weatherly, Graham and Joyce. Those are the key to their lineup. Let's go. First pitch. Fantastic indeed. So both teams are packed with promise and power. One Tree Hill, as we mentioned earlier, Tony Smith in commentary with us on the grand final, have done it before many times. Westlake though, for them to climb the mountain for the very, very first time, what's going to be some of the critical factors they're going to need to get right in this match?
Well, they've got the first one, they've got the start. And I imagine that Coach McAlpine would have been delighted to bat first and just make a bit of a statement with that run, and that should give Charlotte Graham a bit of confidence going into this. But they've been peaking quite nicely in terms of, they had that big loss to One Tree in the opening day, but they've been looking better as the tournament's gone on, so they should have a lot of confidence now that they can do this. And of course they've got the incentive, no North Harbour team has ever won this tournament, so
history making potentially. That's the key to it, isn't it? As we see, Graham works here hard, 3 balls and 1 strike, and this one is fouled off. Savannah Lee Farah here, the centre fielder for One Tree Hill. We'll load up the count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. One of the differences between the boys' grand final and the girls' grand final, well, really boys and girls softball in general. Hard hit ball, looking for some grass, and she does get the job done here. Farah, an opening lead-off single to centre right.
And that's exactly what One Tree Hill will be looking for as a response to conceding that run in the top of the first. So they've come right back with their lead-off batter on base, and 2, 3, 4 to follow in the order, none down.
Graham, the pitcher here, throws the first pitch inside to the second basewoman, Lorma Weatherly. Her official name, Tima Roma. Lorma known to her friends. Opportunity to try and move the runner over. Ground ball, double play, no chance to get to it though. And just like that, in the blink of an eye, One Tree Hill, 2 batters up, 2 base runners on.
Good contact hitting, and as you said, Chopper, there's no chance of making the play there at second base, despite the effort of the fielder.
Gallant effort by Neve, Cadmus, Aspinall. Bring up to bat now, Sky Weatherly. She watches the first one come down Main Street. Aspinall sisters up the middle for Westlake have really worked well together. Cadmus at shortstop is the older one. Ground ball to third base. Seymour's right there. The throw, though, just can't quite get on the mark. And just like that, One Tree Hill, they've levelled this puppy up. It's 1 run apiece. Woo, we got some action here, Tony.
And you're seeing some, if you like, aggressive bunting, push bunting, and bringing the fielder into play, making them throw under pressure. Good stuff, really good response from the team from Ellerslie.
Pitcher goes, the base runner goes on the first pitch. Down to second base, you can see that replay. Good pick up and throw, but the pace of the runner from One Tree Hill, Weatherly, really, created that pressure, if you like, at the base.
And a nice pitch there by Graham, slightly slower delivery, change up. So
it's the Graham on Graham here. Tiana Graham, the batter. for One Tree Hill, and of course Charlotte Graham, the Kaiipa pitcher for Westlake. And it's the Westlake version of Graham that'll get the spoils in this one. One away now here in the bottom of the first innings. We are locked up at 1 run apiece.
And pitcher on pitcher, so we have Skylar Breeze-Joyce.
Joyce, an imposing figure at the plate. You can see big leg kick to get going here, Tony.
Yeah, and she had a good look at that. But like pitchers are actually, when they face other pitchers, are usually quite discerning at what they hit, and she just laid off that. So it looks like she wants to hit the ball and drive it hard.
You can see down at second base the Sky Weatherly peering in, looking for an opportunity to score here. They have tied it up in the bottom of the first innings, One Tree Hill. If they can grab the lead, as you mentioned, grabbing an early lead in a match can be pivotal.
Yeah, I think we saw that in the earlier games where it just puts a bit of pressure on the team, on the mound in particular. And really, you'd be thinking if you're Westlake, if you can get out of this inning with only 1 run against, you've actually done reasonably well, given the start they had.
Yeah, back-to-back hits to Farah and Weatherly. Looking for the bottom of the zone here, this one. It's a little too low.
Smart pitching, though. She's keeping away from her power zone and almost effectively sort of pitching around her in some ways.
3 balls and 2 strikes now. Full count. Hard swing by Joyce. Will go out of play to the right side here. Well, we talked about what Charlotte Graham and Westlake got to do to try and find some success in a debut. On the flip side, for One Tree Hill, it's not their first rodeo. They've been there again. What's some of the stepping stones that they'll try to put in place to climb the mountain?
Well, I guess they know it's not so much a lot of these personnel were there last time, but the culture of the softball program in the school. So we'll set them up for playing under pressure, and there'll be a wee bit of nerves there because they'll want to go one better than they've done before and win the title. So, but I think that the great thing about this level is obviously teams change because kids leave school, but the culture, a winning culture, pervades and stays and is passed on like a baton to the next generation.
Well, the next generation indeed. That's what they're looking to do here. And of course, up to bat here is a third basewoman, Jessie Lee Upu. One away here, loaded bases. One Tree Hill looking to get off to the best possible start. Inside set from the catcher Mariner. And a big swing. Power pitch though from Graham.
There are a few defensive options for Westlake here. They could potentially get this inning with a double play and not necessarily by playing the lead runner. So they've got to have their thinking caps on in terms of their strategy.
Hard hit ball, dunks it into right field. In comes one here. Looking for 2, the play at the plates, and she will slide in time. It is a hot start for One Tree Hill as they'll play 2 more runs here. They lead 3 runs to 1.
And that's just the perfect response, isn't it? They concede a run at the top of the first, and they've come back with 3 of their own, and that will relieve any pressure on Skylar Breeze-Joyce when she takes the mound for the next inning.
One away here in the bottom of the first innings. And a big swing by Atiawa Graham. Atiawa Graham, the starting catcher here for One Tree Hill. This is sister, I believe, of the shortstop, Tiana.
That's actually the great thing about this competition, Chopper, is sisters and brothers get to play with each other perhaps more than they do in the rep grades.
Good to have the whānau in there. The tuakana, Taina. Of course, a special moment, I'm sure, with a lot of whānau that share this great game of Poiuka softball. We see Graham go down on strikes, 2 away now. And Jaya Lee, big hitter for Westlake in the first inning. She comes over to talk to her year 13 partner and Charlotte Graham. So, okay, what do we need to do from here? They've got a couple of runs, that's okay. And I think it's about resetting. Look, a smile on the dial. Sometimes it's the best advice to give.
Yeah. I think we've noted that earlier in the tournament that nothing seems to faze these players.
Yeah.
They don't seem to brood over situations or errors or things they could have done better. They just get on with the game and play what's in front of them.
And this one comes out Bain Street to start this at bats to the left fielder for One Tree Hill. Rohe Maui position, left outfield. That is Tui Panui as that one just clips her and she'll go down to first base. Look at her, she's like, I'm okay. I get to go to first base. Loaded bases now for One Tree Hill. Set to rock and roll now, loaded bases again. One Tree Hill seem to be getting themselves into threatening positions at will almost here in the bottom of the first innings.
Well, every coach wants a big inning, but maybe take it in the first inning and just set the platform for the game.
Of course, that was Palm who, with the hit by pitch down at first base, to see catching her on the elbow. And Elise Harold Fussy, now the designated player. She's hitting for the right fielder, Lily Rose Pin. The 9 spot here. And a big swing, big power pitch. Tino Kaha, Te Kaiepa or Charlotte Graham, as she will complete the innings here. Not before, though. The One Tree Hill will put on 3 runs off the bat of Weatherly. That is the first basewoman. And Jessie Lee Upu, the third base. They get off to a hot start, 3 runs to 1. One Tree Hill leading the grand final against Westlake. Ladies and gentlemen, to continue coverage here for Kānata Māori's YouTube platform through Māori Active. Kia ora koutou katoa, o tō tautoko e tēnei rā, ko te kaupapa, ko poi uka. Thank you so much for tuning in and your support of this great game of softball. As they have you along here, well, the first innings was full of plenty of action. One Westlake get off to a hot start off the bat of J.R. Lee, banging at the centre field, drives in a run. Then on the flip side, One Tree Hill, they answer. They go through 9 batters in the first innings, drive in 3 runs. So we're up to the top of the second innings now, and it'll be Hope Weller that'll get them underway. It'll be right fielder, followed by the second basewoman, Neve Cadnis Aspinall, and then the left fielder, Toshiana Murray. Tony Smith in commentary with us here for the grand final. This one will go foul down the right side. Tony, you've been here all 4 days in and out of the ballpark and some commentary for us. What have you thought about the standard of the 2023 edition of the Secondary Schools National Championship?
I've been quite impressed with the potential of a lot of these players. It's difficult to sort of gauge because it's been 4 years since we've had a tournament thanks to COVID. But it's some of the games have been absolutely excellent, and both boys and girls. We'd like to see obviously more teams here, but I think that will build as we recover from COVID. It's pretty tough on schools to get the funding and things like that. But there's massive potential here, and what I really like to see is obviously there's some recognised softball names in some of these teams, but there are other athletes who are pretty new to the game who've picked it up like that, and have been really impressive in their development.
Developed into fine young athletes, rangatahi here, representing their kura, and whoa! Why have one when you can have two? They have a laugh after that one. They catch the pop-up from Neve Cadnis-Aspel. 2 quick outs here, as you see on the Ballpark Broadcasting NZ replay.
And when you look at that, I mean, it's great team play. You've got 2 infielders vying for the ball and the right fielder coming in to back up. So it shows the enthusiasm in this One Tree team.
Tashiana Murray now. There's an inkling at the first pitch, and they'll just check down to first base. The umpire says safe. So no swing on the first pitch. And this one fouls back. Murray, an enthusiastic young lady out of North Shore. One of those kids that just loves the game of Puuka softball team.
That's what it's all about, isn't it? Fostering that enjoyment and love for it, and they're the type of people that come back as coaches and administrators and umpires. So that's what we want.
Well, I tell you one thing, we've talked about this a number of times through the different matches we've covered here this week in Atiawa Christchurch, is the spirit of the culture of this tournament. These kids coming back finally, kanohi to kanohi, face to face, interacting with each other. And I know we're broadcasting the grand final here, but it hasn't always been about the winning. Tough play. And she gets rewarded, Murray, down to first base. Good contact, good pace down the line, safe at first base. And just to finish that line of thought there, the way that these players have come together to join each other from the different kura schools around New Zealand or Aotearoa, it's been a privilege to be witness of it.
Fantastic. There almost seems to be a different spirit at this tournament than even in club and representative tournaments. Something about playing for your school where you spend 4 to 5 years, very formative years of your life, and the pride is just there for everyone to see, and it's a pleasure coming into the car park and seeing all the vans with school colours and school insignia. It's just it's got a good buzz. I've always liked this tournament, and for that very reason, just the spirit. It's quite contagious, actually.
I'd have to agree, Tony. It is contagious. And I'm happy to catch this team spirit here that these kuras and schools have that brought to Atiawa Christchurch. It's fantastic indeed.
I mean, for a lot of us, it's been a tough year in softball, obviously, with the Black Sox results not going the way we had hoped. And but this is kind of almost like revived my spirit, if you like. Just being down here for these last few days, and not that there's anything too wrong with the current senior generation, but it gives you hope for the future.
Doesn't it?
This is a very resilient sport. It'll always survive and thrive. And
that's the thing, and I'm glad you touched on that, is these young rangatahi. Hard hit ball. Seymour gets it over the top of the left field. This will be trouble with a capital T here. Will they send it from third base? The stop sign is up. Woo! Number 9 hitter, hands on hips, hoppe. What a great knock from the third baseman from Westlake.
And here's Charlotte Graham to bat, who's got a chance really to drive in 2 runs and basically effectively tie the ball game.
Just over the reach of the outfield here. Great Explosive swing from Rory Seymour. And Graham now, 5-6 hole. Graham, the opposite Graham, the shortstop from One Tree Hill. She is silky smooth with a strong arm. That is a great play, top shelf. That'll do us through the top of the second innings. Westlake will stand 2 runners. Ooh, something tells me, Tony, the scoring is not over in this game. What a match.
Perfect response, and Fergus McAlpine will be breathing a bit easier now. He knows he's got a team that's got some spirit and fight and resilience in them.
Fight, resilience, team, all good words. It's all the grand final here from Otautahi. Back soon, bottom 2. Welcome back to continued coverage here. Brought to you by Ballpark Broadcasting and Atiawa Toa FM in the house, producing for Whakaata Māori and Softball New Zealand. Great to have along for the ride here. Grand final time. We've had one grand final today already, Tony. The boys Division 1 grand final. Very 2 tough teams. Alfriston, who had qualified for the grand final first, but the boys from Hutt Valley, St. Pat's Silverstream, came in the back door and pulled the rug.
Semi-final against Shirley Boys High, and they just kept it rolling, kept the juggernaut rolling, and in some ways it's better to play that semi-final and get straight into it, get your eye in, and they never let up. It was a brilliant debut win for St. Patrick's.
Well, I tell you what, we had Damien Collins on the camera in game 1, and you should see his face, red face. It almost felt like he had to tie up his shoelace. Fantastic to have Collins in the bush here. Every time he bends over, red face, but happy with a red face today because his old college, St. Pat's Silverstream, won the national title. Congratulations to St. Pat's, and of course, Mr. Red Face Lace, Damien Collins. Back to the action here, bottom of the second innings. This one pops up.
As that's fouled off, Chopper, I just been thinking about the trophy up for grabs here is the Lindsay Leask trophy.
Tell me a bit about that trophy, Tom.
So Lindsay Leask was probably, I think without doubt, the most prominent New Zealand softball administrator in the women's side of the game. And she was a school teacher at Burnside High School here in Christchurch, and she had the idea for this tournament. I mean, unfortunately a bit late for people of my generation, but around about the late 70s, Lindsay saw a need, spoke to the New Zealand JAB. They started the National Secondary Schools Championship with a lot of teacher input, kayako input from around the country. And so Lindsay was very much a visionary, and it's fitting that this trophy is named in her honour. She passed on, unfortunately, a couple of years ago, but her legacy remains in the game.
She does indeed, and a tough slow roller here off the bat on One Tree Hill, and they'll get the lead-off runner on of Savannah Lee Farah down to first base. Westlake in the first innings there, defensively in One Tree Hill. That was the problem, wasn't it? Keeping them off the base path.
Yep, and it's still the challenge now, so tight defence is the key. But to be fair to One Tree Hill, they were able to pierce that defence last time with well-placed hits and just going with the pitch.
Yeah. A very good hitting lineup. Both teams are very good defensive line. You don't get to a grand final if you're not. Graham will take care of this one and throw it over in time, so they do get their first out here. Does Westlake, albeit it'll push the runner over to second base. third bunt we've seen executed from One Tree Hill in this grand final. So they're looking to use different tactics as they work their way through the grand final for sure. And we mentioned earlier, not their first rodeo.
No, that's right. They probably learnt a few things from their past two appearances, and one of those is to keep the scoreboard ticking over. And just accumulation is the name of the game. They're up 3-1, but if they can just keep ticking it over, 1 run an inning, they keep Westlake at bay.
Sky Weatherly with a big swing on that last pitch. There was a count now, 1 ball and 1 strike. 1 away here in the bottom of the first innings. One Tree Hill leading by 2 at this point. Bunt is up, and Seymour, the third baseman, is like a cat on a hot tin roof as she gets in there to catch that ball. See on the Ballpark Broadcasting replay on the bottom of the screen there. Look how quick Seymour got to the ball, Tony.
Yep, she saw that off the bat pretty well, didn't she? And moved to accordingly.
Charlotte Graham continues on the hill here for Westlake girls. Against the opposition shortstop Tiana Graham. It's a Grahamathon this grand final, I tell you. This one's down Main Street. There was a count 1-1 now. Towards at second base is Farah. This one pops up. Quite a great catch from the crowd. Oh, Mum and Dad do have some talent, Tony. Oh, it's great to have them here. Look at them. They're enjoying the atmosphere, aren't they? And why wouldn't you, with the showcase of talent that we've been treated to here at Dynasty Ballpark in Christchurch. And Charlotte Graham rears back and says, enough's enough. One Tree Hill. Guess what? We've made it to the grand final. We've got a chance as well. She'll strike him out. Leave the runner stranded at second base. No score change. 3-1. We'll head to the top of the third when we come back. I don't know about you, Tony. I say put a glove on that dad's hands. What a catch in the crowd here in the grand final. Top of the third innings here. Westlake scored first in the top of the first innings on the bat of J.R. Lee. Before came into bat was One Tree Hill in the bottom of the innings, and they scored 3 runs from Weatherly and Upu. That's the scoreline at the moment, 3-1. This guy's now here in the top of the third innings. It'll be Talia Hurley, the centre fielder, Kalani Mariner, and J.R. Lee. One Tree Hill, they've been slick in the field, Tony, haven't they? Really outstanding.
Been really good. Very, very good, particularly at 6 at shortstop, and just looking like they really want this game.
Off the end of the bat, and this one will go foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes now the counts. Top of the third innings here. Westlake trailing by 2. Well, early on in this match, we've seen some tactics that have been required at certain times. The coaching staff of Westlake, Girls High from the North Shore, they're blessed. They've got Aspinall Mother down at first base, but the head coach at third base, it is Fergus McAlpine. And Fergus is, of course, the assistant under-23 coach for New Zealand. He'll be heading to Argentina in a couple of weeks for the World Cup. But before he goes on that jet plane, he wants to click a national title here for Westlake.
That's right. He's a very ambitious young coach. The thing I like about Fergus is he's always looking to learn and increase his knowledge, and he's got goals in mind both for his teams and for himself. He's the type of person who consults widely, and he's had a good grounding at the Ramblers Club from the Nathan Nuku Donny Hale School.
Excellent. As we see, Hurley will head down to first base with a walk.
And in some ways, Chopper, coaching teams like this at this age group and this level is more challenging than coaching the major Sox.
Well, you're dead right about Fergus McAlpine. He's dedicated. I don't think you can get any more dedicated than this, Tony. Have a listen to this. Today's his birthday, and he's here for the team. But it's also his wedding anniversary. What a man.
I was waiting for that.
He better be buying her a lovely set of roses on the flight home. Big hit from Mariner.
Oh.
And a great catch, though. They almost doubled her off. The centre fielder made good movement to make that grab.
That was a brilliant out there in centre field. That looked gone for all money into the left centre field gap. And she got to that because she moved on the pitch initially, and she was able to get that last little spurt and almost doubled off the runner.
Just about. What a fantastic catch, though, by Savannah Lee Farah, the centre fielder for One Tree Hill. J.L. Lee, she's trouble. Already scored the only run here for Westlake.
And it's a catch like that that really lifts your pitcher, isn't it? Like when you see a player make a play like that, it gives you a few extra clicks on your fastball.
Yeah. To the level of softball here, the Dynasty Ballpark in the 2023 edition of this national championship has simply been outstanding. A swing and a miss off to the races is Hurley, and she'll stand up in the second base. So in scoring position now, with only one away here in the top of the third innings. 3 runs to 1's the scoreline. And the game of softball, though, Tony, is that a big margin?
No, it's not, especially at this stage of the game. And one swing of the bat brings it back to 1 run. And then suddenly you sow a bit of doubt in the mind of the team in front.
Oh, nice change of pace from Joyce on the hill there. Catches Lee on the front foot.
That shows confidence to throw the Epa Maminga, the change-up. And
Epa Maminga, the change-up.
Not an easy pitch to throw, but obviously has been practicing it, which is a good sign.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Lee versus Joyce. Westlake versus One Tree Hill. And what was it called again, Tony?
Epa Maminga.
The Epa Maminga works a charm. She'll get her on the front foot for the second out.
I think we've seen toru of them.
Yeah, 3 Epa Maminga. Toru.
But obviously saw a potential weakness in the hitter and exploited it. That's good. It's good catching in particular. Good calling of the pitch. So often at this level you see we've got to vary the pitching, but if you can spot a weakness in the batter's swing, just stay with it.
Joyce now. And they pull that one down the line. Aspinall will go to second base on the throw. She's been red hot this tournament and continues to be good here for Westlake.
And then suddenly we're one swing of the bat from the tying run at second base. So. Which backs up your comment, Chopper, about a 3-1 lead not being a massive advantage in this game, in this sport.
Hope Weller now. Ground ball straight back to Joyce. She'll throw it over in time. And Westlake will leave them stranded. It's a tight one, 3 runs to 1. One Tree Hill leading as we go to the bottom of the third.
No time to fluff around today? No worries. Just swing into Caltex and pay for fuel with Pay an App to speed on through. Ooh, yeah. Feels good. Use it at your local participating Caltex.
A big thank you to Apollo Projects for providing the funding.
It's really helped our kids to have more opportunities.
Gaining the extra funding really goes a long way to providing opportunities.
We are low on the socioeconomic index, so our students haven't got $200 when we're going away for these trips.
Students often miss out on opportunities because of the financial commitment.
More often than not, the student has to give up their sport.
With the funding from Apollo Projects, we've been able to lower travel costs to allow more students to participate in secondary school competitions.
Your generosity has enabled us to enable these students to be able to play in these sports, be able to just be the best versions of themselves.
We're really grateful, and I cannot express that enough about how and what it means to us.
Bottom of the third innings here, the grand final matchup between Westlake and One Tree Hill. For all the cookies in the cookie jar here, Tony Smith joining me in commentary. It is One Tree Hill leading 3 runs to 1. Your impressions of the grand final so far?
One Tree are playing good ball, and they deserve to be in the lead, but it's still not a situation where they can relax at all, as Westlake showed in that last inning. They came back, had left 2 runners out there in scoring position. And One Tree now with Skylar Breeze-Joyce, their pitcher, at bat. She would like to really crack this game open and just keep that advantage ticking over.
Skylar Breeze-Joyce, very handy in the pitcher's circle.
And pretty handy in the batter's box, at number 5 in the order. So
big swing and a big pitch here, just misses this one. Agreed, an outstanding athlete is Joyce.
And this is the second full count at bat for Joyce in the game. So it shows she's got a good eye at the plate too, Chopper. She's picked a walk.
And Joyce, as you just mentioned, a sharp shooter eye. She's down to first base now. So bring up to bat for One Tree Hill. Number 6 in the line, third baseman Jesse Lee Upu.
And Upu shapes to bunt but pulls away. And this time bunts foul.
Three runs to one here, bottom of the third innings.
And a good strike out by Charlotte Graham.
Well, that's answering the call, isn't it, Tony? When your back is against the wall, you've got to find a way.
Exactly. We call that the old clutch K there. So bringing up now Tyler Graham, the catcher.
Graham. Well, the talented athlete coming out of One Tree Hill. Boy, that seems to be a production line down there. How do they do it, Tony?
Well, yeah, as we mentioned before, they've got a history in this tournament, and obviously softball, Poyuka means a lot to their school, and I guess they scout and recruit through the lower classes, the junior classes, and bring them through. And there'd be some prestige in playing softball for your school when you've had that pedigree of success.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. We would think the line to queue up to trial out for One Tree Hill must be down the block, around the corner, past the woodwork building.
Yeah.
Because of the success they've had over the years.
Yeah, it means a lot. I mean, we often hear schools very proud of how many All Blacks they produced and things like that, but that applies to softball as well. And I see in the boys' tournament here, St Bernard's College, well, they had 2 or 3 old boys in the very first New Zealand men's team in 1966. Pilgrims, people like Terry Nuns, Terry Bell, and I believe maybe Wayne Baldwin. So, that's something to be really proud of. And a lot of these schools, can point to a lot of White Sox and Black Sox players who've passed through their portals. I mean, for instance, the first boys' tournament was won by St Peter's College from Auckland, who had as captain Eddie Collassi and as coach Eddie's father, Eric. Well, Eric had been in the 1968 New Zealand men's team. Eddie won a gold medal 4 years after winning that school title with the Black Sox.
You see a big swing there.
So those are the things that we've got to create the pride in and understanding of the legacy, if you like.
Well, it is about legacy. It's about building it together, isn't it?
Yeah. And this is the 41st edition of this tournament. It's something to be proud of, and it could even get bigger and better.
This one's high. Tui Pānui, hit by pitch. Back in the first innings. This end of the first innings, because they went through 9 batters of the first innings, remember?
That's right, yeah.
On a big pitch. Tiri Kaha.
And strikeout number 2 of the inning for Charlotte Graham. It's a great way to keep the score just stable.
Well, it is indeed. It's slowed the game down offensively. These 2 pitchers have found their rhythm. Charlotte Graham now sounds like maybe a little bit of nerves in that first innings, Tony.
Yeah.
But the game is on now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And I guess that's where it comes back. One Tree Hill, they've been there before. They know the kind of the drill. Westlake, they're excited at the opportunity, but it is uncharted territory for them. But now they're settling into their groove, as they have all week. In the latter half, the last few days, they've really been building quite nicely.
Nicely indeed. As we go to the top of the 4th innings, it is One Tree Hill leading 3 runs to 1.
104.9 and 94.9
swing into Caltex and pay for fuel with Pay an App to speed on through. Ooh yeah, feels good. Use it at your local participating Caltex.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Otautahi Christchurch here. Grand final time of the 2023 National First Division Secondary School Softball Championships. One Tree Hill taking on Westlake. A close battle. One Tree Hill jumped out with 3 runs in the bottom of the first innings to give them the lead over Westlake's 1 in the top of the first. But she's been locked up 0-0 ever since the first innings. Tony, Westlake, for them to get themselves on the scoreboard here against One Tree Hill, what are going to be some of the factors that will need to fall in the right way?
Plate discipline, I think, is the key one. You know, like they've got to get runners on base and then maximise them. And that might mean taking a few risks in some of their, stretching the extra base. But you've got to do that when you're trailing. While being sensible about it, but they don't want too many people just swinging at the first pitch. They want to take the count as deep as they can, make Skylar Breeze-Joyce throw as many pitches as possible, and just to give yourself every opportunity to get back into it.
Sure will indeed. We're looking for the opportunities, take them, capitalise, plate discipline, they're all good factors. Great to have Tony Smith in the booth here, sharing his knowledge of what's required. 1-1 the count now on Tashiana Murray. Pulls that one down the line and go foul.
So I guess one of the key points there is, in terms of putting pressure on, is bunting for a base hit rather than a sacrifice, and hitting for contact rather than just power. So and
this one will go down the line. And they'll get 2 quick outs here, that does One Tree Hill. Going to bring up to bat Rory Seymour. It's been good today. Big hit over the left fielder, back in the second innings from the third basewoman. Papa Toru. Third base position. And she tries the bunt, and it's just a little low though, but you can see her reasoning behind it, can't you?
You can, but it's difficult to put a bunt down from that deep in the box. Yeah. So I'd like to see some of these hitters come forward and challenge the pitcher a bit more. I'm not sure whether the pace warrants being so deep. So get out there and try and hit the ball before it moves too much at the end, I guess. Yeah.
Before it moves too much, exactly. This one down and inside.
I mean, if you're batting against Daniel Chapman and the men, by all means go to the back of the box, but not necessarily in this game.
You see down the line from Seymour, and she'll beat it out on the throw and safely down to first base, just what the doctor ordered for Westlake. Top of the fourth innings, 2 away now.
And this is where they did well last inning with 2 down. A bit of a rally, and Charlotte Graham is the hitter to spark it up.
Kutene te wā. This is the time. Charlotte Graham, easily one of the leaders of this Westlake side, with Jaya Lee, first base, co-captains. Halfway through the grand final here. They can add, or at least cut 1 run into this 2-run lead of One Tree Hill. Go a long way to balancing out the end and possibly a cliffhanger to finish it. Good pitch and just comes inside. 2 balls and 1 strike now.
And again, take her as deep in the count as you can, see as many pitches as you can, and put the pressure back on the pitcher.
This one down low, off to the races. Seymour's creating something here. She'll go again, stands up, looking for third base. And you can see the will and determination of the young third basewoman from Westlake. She wants to get home, doesn't she?
Absolutely, and that's what I talked before about, take a bit of a risk, steal a base, look for the extra base, keep the pressure on all the time. Because you actually have nothing to lose. You're behind, you need to chip away. And Fergus McAlpine will be more than savvy about that.
Charlotte Graham will pick up a walk, head down to first base with 2 outs here. Head coach McAlpine has the decision. Do we substitute her? They do. Make sure their pitch is going to be good to go the rest of the way through. So Murray will come in to run.
Odds on will steal.
An option for sure. Talia Hurley, hard hitting.
But only if the runner at third draws the throw. So
yeah, hard hitting centre fielder. First pitch she sees is down low below the zone.
So they're playing it safe, just leaving the runners at the corners.
2 away here.
2 down. And
they need a run. They definitely don't need an out here. So Murray is stationary at first base. Ball is high. Good balanced eye here by Hurley.
And I guess, they're playing it safe because they do have some respect for the arm of Tyler Graham, the One Tree Hill catcher.
And time called here, as we want the battery and senior leadership group within One Tree Hill. Want to simplify things in this situation. What is he going to do defensively, technically, with a runner in the corners? 2 balls and no strikes. One of the types of counts where they will want to try and run because the pitcher will have to try and throw a strike.
Exactly, and I guess the message probably is Skylar breeds Joyce. You just keep your confidence up. You can get the batter. We do have 2 down.
Big moment in the game here as that one comes through the zone. 2-1 now the count. Hurley, an opportunity. Halve this lead to One Tree Hill at this moment. Big moment. Late cut, got to be quick. Got a sidestep and can't quite get past the glove, silky smooth of Sky Weatherly and One Tree Hill. They weather the storm of Westlake.
Exactly, yeah. That's exactly what they need. I think that's 3 innings in a row now where Westlake have had runners on base in scoring position and haven't been able to capitalise. Good defence, good tight pitching. But those are the things you regret at the end of the day, is that LOB column, left on base.
LOB, not the music group, but the stat and softball, left on base. 3 runs to 1, Westlake leading. Got a treat for you when we come back in the bottom of the 4th innings. William Wallace from Bailey's is in the house. We'll get to have a chat. Back soon. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. No mai hara mai I tēnei rā with the Kimu Poyuka. Welcome back to the great game of fast pitch softball. Grand final time here on day number 4. It is game 63. It is Westlake taking on One Tree Hill. Bottom of the 4th innings. One Tree Hill do have a 2-run lead here. Looking to grab an insurance one, maybe a safe bet or a safe investment. Well, we've got a safe investment with us here today. Bailey's Commercial manager here, general manager of the commercial division. William Wallace is in the house. Kia ora, William, and welcome back to the booth.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me here. It's great to be part of the finals. Must say a bit of favouritism for Westlake. I lived on the North Shore for a while and very close to Westlake school, so a bit of favouritism on my side.
I don't know about you, Tony Smith, because I know you're completely unbiased, but I live on the shore. My daughter used to go to Westlake, so I don't know about you. I like this William Wallace guy. Fantastic. William, mate, you were in the other day to come and have a look at the competition as well. We just talked a little bit about how St. Pat's Silverstream had the best day ever today, had to come through the hard road with a semi-final win before getting the win in the grand final. But that's what these moments are all about. What have you thought about the moments that you've experienced here at the 2023 Secondary Schools Softball Championship?
Well, I think just watching the talent, I think it's incredibly difficult. It just takes one wrong movement, missing one catch, and that's the difference between these teams because they're so close. And I think the level of professionalism and sportsmanship I've seen has been exceptionally good. So, any team here could take it on the day. And I said it just comes down to that, one level of mistake to kind of put you out of the running.
Well, with 6 national championships across the country, Wakaama volleyball, to name just a few here with Puuka softball, Bailey's sponsoring all of those events through the New Zealand Sports Collective. Thank you so much for doing that. But why is sport important to Bailey's?
Oh, good question. From our side, it's, from me personally, it hits me a soft spot. I've always been involved in sport my whole life. And Bailey's, as I said in the past, is a high-performance business. We're a family-orientated business. We love to see up-and-coming people through various industries. And I think for us, giving back into the sporting community and the young and talented people is the best way for us to give back to the community. And we look forward to being an ongoing sponsor for all these events.
Well, as we see Charlotte Graham here really putting the pins down in this grand final now. Strikeout of Savannah Lee Farah. Loma Weatherly now will step in and try her luck. William, if you were going to stand in the batter's box against Charlotte Graham, a flamethrower from Westlake, what would you do?
I'd probably fall on the ground but pretend I'm dead. I'd be very nervous to have that thrown at me. That's some serious speed coming in and some serious talent.
Fantastic. Tony Smith in commentary with us here the whole time. Tony, if you wanted some advice on buying a commercial property or getting one of your grandchildren into real estate, what would you ask Mr. Bates?
I wish I'd asked that conversation about 40 years ago.
Well, Tony, it's never too late to invest, and I think from our side, it's if you had family or members, it's always good to just pick up the phone and come in and see one of our professionals, because there's always ways and means of making something happen, and we'd love to obviously advise in any formal way.
Sounds great.
Oh, fantastic. I'll take one of those commercial properties. Just drop one of those cards in my back pocket. Bailey's General Manager of the Commercial Division, William Wallace. Thank you so much for your time. We see slow developing play. She'll get safe at first base, does Withy. Thank you for your time here today and coming along. I know there's a couple of prizes to give out at the end of the tournament, but we appreciate what you do for our sport, and we thank you for it.
Thanks, guys, and thanks for letting me be here. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. All right, there you go. William Wallace, the General Manager of the Commercial Division from Bailey's, and great to have their support here with the New Zealand Sports Collective. And Whakaata Māori, of course, and the rest of the great sponsors in the group, the Ropu, the bag and the briefcase, if you like, and it gives us an opportunity, as you can see here, to telecast and allow these young rangatahi from all the kura around Aotearoa schools around the country to be able to participate at this great event.
Yeah, great to have the backing of big corporates and see the potential in our game and in other sports. And as William said, it's he's appreciated the skill here and the degree of difficulty in hitting a ball that's pitched 100k an hour.
1-1 the count here to be fair, I asked him with tongue-in-cheek, what would you do in the batter's box? I'm not too sure what I would do in the batter's box against Charlotte Graham either. But if I ever do want to buy a property, a commercial one especially, I'll be sure to make sure to give William Wallace and the crew at Barty's a call or an email and get that underway. Always a great investment, this property, that's for sure. Back to the action here on the diamond in the grand final now. 1 ball and 2 strikes the counts. Sky Weatherly. You can hear Westlake and One Tree Hill when they're batting. I was going to touch on this earlier on in the match, but there was too much action at the time. One of the big differences for me with the boys softball and the girls softball is the high activity in the dugout.
Yeah.
It's just, they elevate it, don't they? They're singing, they're dancing, they're banging. And
there's a lot less inhibition, I think, among teenage girls at this level than boys, but it's great to see.
It is indeed, and great to see Charlotte Graham has buttoned down the hatches. We're through 4 complete now as we head to the top of the 5th. One Tree Hill leading 3 runs to 1. Can Westlake pip a run here for the North Shore to look forward to a national title? We'll find out when we come back. Top 5th up next.
So sponsorship from New Zealand Carbon Farming has been fantastic for our sports teams actually who went away to tournament week. We're a community who's driven by sport, but often money and the cost of travel and the cost of accommodation and uniform can be a barrier for some of our students. So to be able to have the support of New Zealand Carbon Farming has been fantastic this year.
It's been used to get new uniforms and all that sort of thing.
It makes us look a lot better than being in older uniforms from 2000s.
It's good that it's reversible as well.
Yeah, so you don't get confused with the other teams.
Yeah.
One of the things that our students get down on, if you like, in sport is not looking as good as the other team, and to come out with a new uniform for a number of sports, particularly our basketball teams who have been away at nationals, has been uplifting for the students, for our students and for our community. The support from Carbon Farming has been wonderful.
Big thanks to New Zealand Carbon Farming for everything they've done for us.
Without them, then we wouldn't look like this.
Grand final. Tony Smith joining us in the action here. Top of the 5th innings. Tony, what have we got left to see?
Plenty, I suspect. I think this game is not won by One Tree Hill yet. They've got a lot of work to do, and defensively, and in the batter's box, Westlake have just got to keep ticking it over and getting more runners on base. This time, though, bringing them in. They've left a few too many out there for the liking of their coaching staff, and it's time they started to turn base runners into scorers. And that's a good start there by Westlake. A good hit there by the number 15, Kalani Mariner. Yeah, the catcher.
And that's what the doctor ordered here for the girls from the North Shore, isn't it? They are needing to get away to a start here. To be fair, though, Skylar Breeze-Joyce has not been easy to hit today.
No, she hasn't. She's pitched well, but starting. Now we're seeing these batters coming up, their second or third at bats of the game, so they've got their eye in against her, and they kind of know what's coming down.
Swinging a miss over the top of that one on J.L. Lee.
You really get the sense here, Chopper, that Westlake need to score in this inning to really put the hammer down and to give themselves a chance of delivering their first title and the first title for a North Harbour school.
Well, the game is 7 innings. There's no time limit in the grand final.
And that's great. That's the way it should be. Yep. And This is the big time.
It is indeed. Fifth innings is definitely a pivotal point of the match for sure. Of course, they're going to have 2 more innings, both teams, to bat and field. But Skylar Breeze-Joyce, she's got that change up. What do you call it again?
It's called the Epa Marminga, the change up. And it's just falling off the end of the table, isn't it? Really, it's just
without a doubt. She's kind of got the table, the ball's rolling on it. Then she yanks the table,
that's right.
And it's invisible.
The tablecloth goes backwards and the ball drops right down into the zone.
1 away here. And that'll bring up, I mentioned at the top of the shop, surprise package offensively for Westlake. Lucy Cadnis Aspinall having an outstanding tournament. First pitch is foul down the line. That's the great thing about these opportunities of competing at a national tournament, isn't it, Tony? That sometimes those people that step up may not be the ones that you expect. It's because everyone gets an opportunity.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and they've got relatively small squads, so they're not carrying a heck of a big bench. So you're playing all the time. You're getting a chance to be in the game.
This one scoots back. And off to the races, Oma Rapati, the rabbit, runs down to second base, and Kalani Mariner. Big smile on her face out there. She's enjoying herself, isn't she?
She does, yeah. I've watched her run off the diamond, high-fiving, and shows quite a lot of animation.
Aspinall now settles back in. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Slow roller, Graham at shortstop's been good all day, and she continues. Mariner going for 3, and she is safe. No wonder she's smiling. She's like, hands are up in the sky. I got it, coach. I got it covered. And Fergus McAlpine's happy as well. 2 away, so they'll get a chance to bring on a pinch runner here for
2 down catcher rule, I think, that one.
For Mariner. Look how strong that arm is from Graham, though, the shortstop from One Tree Hill. Where's the slide? Go on, round the back door. Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, great defensive play, wasn't it? I mean, good out by the shortstop and a good, quick release by the first base.
Hope Weller.
Copybook slide, too. Reti, slide.
Perfectly done. This one's high. Mariner has been substituted, and that'll pay dividends as well. It's Cadnis Aspinall, and just like that, in the blink of an eye, we've got ourselves a 1-run ball game.
And that's a massive,
3 runs to 2.
That's a massive boost because they hadn't scored for a few innings and they left a few runners out there. Now they've got one across the plate, and still just a 2 down.
2 balls also here.
So can Hope Weller keep this 2 down rally going.
Ball is down low. Westlake earn their berth the hard way to the grand final. Had to come in that game last night, the 2-3 game against Rose Hill. As you see, Cadnis Aspinall slide in for the second run for Westlake here. 1-run ball game. Talked about getting close for a cliffhanger. I hope you've got a harness on, Tony Smith. I think you might going to need it. Oh, you southern men, didn't you invent the bungee jump? You guys are crazy.
It was
anyway.
invented down Queenstown,
wow.
Yeah. But,
Skipper's Canyon. And Weber. Hope Weller, like a captain herself, patiently waits out the walk or head down to first base.
And timeout called here by One Tree Hill. Just wanting to sort of reassure their pitcher.
Clever time out of here too. No need to panic. The farm is not sold. And look at that. That's one thing I love about school sport. As we see a replay there. But did you see number 8, first baseman, Savannah Lee Farrow? The first thing she does is not complain about, come on, I want you to lift. It's like, let's go, bud. I got your back.
Yeah.
Just a little pat on the back.
Yeah.
That 100% for me symbolises what school softball is all about. Mariner sliding into 3. She's a character. She's going to be one of the storylines of this grand final with Kalani Mariner, isn't she?
she's doing a good job behind the dish, and that was a good slide. She's probably unexpected to be stretching that out, but she did her job.
So, runner at first base, 2 away here, top of the 5th innings. One Tree Hill just with a slender lead, 1 run. Tino Tata, very close, grand final at the moment. Brings up to bat the second basewoman, Neve Cadness Aspinall. Two balls now, no strikes on the batter. Aspinall, the younger sister of the shortstop, Lucy. She bears one inside, comes down through the zone. 2-1 now the count, Tony.
Yep, and I guess the strategy from Westlake is to make Skylar Breeze throw as many pitches as she has to. At this stage of the game, and the stage of the week, pitches understandably are a little bit tired, and the more you can keep her out there on the mound, the more chance you've got of a breakthrough.
Aspinall, pacily waits it out. I'll tell you what, she's got nerves of steel, the young second base woman.
And really made the use of her sort of tight zone. Good plate discipline, didn't swing anything.
1 run scored by Westlake here on the top of the 5th innings. An opportunity with 2 base runners on now. The ball gets loose and off they go. They'll move up 60 feet, so both Westlake athletes, Rangatahi out there in scoring position. This innings could be massive for Westlake.
Absolutely, and that's now the go-ahead run at second base. So
and Murray will let that one fall below the zone. It just seems all of a sudden the strike zone's kind of disappeared a little bit here for the One Tree Hill, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, and I think they've had the message, Westlake, to see a lot of pitches, to make her throw as many pitches in that bat as is sort of possible.
And another one down, 3 straight balls here. Kalani Mariner and Charlotte Graham are hanging out the door of the dugout, screaming at the top of their lungs. They can feel Kotene Tawa. It's their opportunity now. Now is their moment. Hard hit ball from Murray. They'll go to 3, and she is safe. There is no tag. We'll wait for the umpire to call it. They throw it to third base, unaware it's not a force play. And Westlake gets safe at third, but more importantly, oh baby, we're locked up at 3 apiece.
And that's really what this game needed and deserves. Actually, it's been a great tight ball game, and you have to admire the fighting spirit in Westlake. What's in the water in that part of the North Shore?
I think it kind of caught them a little bit off guard there. It was 3 balls, no strikes to count on Tashiana Murray. No one's expecting her to swing the bat. She hits it.
Yep.
Shortstop. They're not thinking about throwing to 1 because he's 2 outs. They're like, wait a minute, she hit it. Then they try to get an out. They forgot how many runners are on. And just like that, we're all locked up. Westlake charging along. William Wallace was in the house. He's a Westlake supporter. Maybe he's helped turn the tide here in the grand final. Locked up 3 apiece, Westlake and One Tree Hill.
That's an example of what we were talking yesterday about the bistro. Knowing the game situation all the time. So before each pitch, okay, what do I need to do if the ball's hit to me? But it's learning. It's like these players will look back on that and go, okay, that's an area where we can learn from and not repeat.
Poison ready at third base is young Neve Cadness Aspinall. Seymour blast one, looking for a gap. And the centre fielder is on it. A nice catch taken there, and the bleeding will stop, but it's not before Westlake. They get her done. A bit of slip slide from Mariner and a bit of Cadness Aspinall magic. They score 2 runs. We're locked up 3 apiece. Bottom of the 5th coming up. Boy, oh boy, don't go anywhere. This one's got a little bit of everything. no mai hara mai I tēnei rā. Under the beautiful weather of Tāwhiri Mātia. Ko whiti te rā. The sun is shining here at Otautahi Dynasty Ballpark. It's great to have you all along for this grand final time here. The last game on the schedule, game number 63. Westlake Girls High from the north shore of Auckland taking on One Tree Hill from the southern middle section of Auckland, and it's a battle for the national title. And someone's got excited with the scoreboard. It's actually 3 runs apiece, but we're all locked up here in the bottom of the 5th innings, Tony.
Yep, that's right, and that ball just fouled off down the wrong side of the left field line. One Tree Hill haven't scored for 4 innings, so they'll be looking to change that and get the old bats going.
Tiana Graham here, shortstop. She's been outstanding. I've been very, very impressed with her work today.
Yep, been excellent in that pivotal position in the infield. And we'll be looking to back it up with a hit.
Hard hit ball, Graham going large. It's over the left fielder. Should be off to the races. This could be an in the park home run. Around second base, no. The anchor's on. The relay throw is perfect from Westlake Girls.
Good recovery there by Tashiana Murray in left field. That ball hit over her head, but she got back quickly to it and was able to limit the damage to a stand-up double.
Very important here for One Tree Hill. They've just given up 2 runs in the top of the 5th innings. However, we've seen them reply every time Westlake scores. Top of the 1st innings, Westlake get 1. Bottom of the 1st, One Tree Hill get 3. Yep. Top of the 5th, Westlake get 2. What will One Tree Hill do here on the bottom of the 5th?
Well, they're looking for a rally, aren't they? And that's probably a lucky reprieve there for Skylar Breeze-Joyce, that foul ball. But they've got to keep this going. They've got to, when you get that lead-off runner on base like that, you just absolutely need to score them, but get other ducks on the pond as well.
Joyce now wanting to help out her sisters offensively. Been really good on the mound, only given up 3 runs. Last innings fouled a bit long, but she did keep her composure, and that's the key right here, isn't it, Tony? Be composed.
Yeah, it is, and I think Charlotte Graham has also displayed that. She's actually got better as the game's gone on.
Hasn't she?
She had that nervous start, that first inning, but she's bounced back really well from that.
And a change of pace. Here's a bit of your own medicine. As she'll sit down, Joyce, on the strike.
There's always something satisfying for a pitcher throwing the old Epa Marminga, the change up to another pitcher and getting the K, isn't there? Yeah, it's just
Epa Marminga.
Those are the sort of things you talk about in the pitchers union after the game.
One down here, bottom of the 5th innings, and the first pitch delivered to Jessie Lee Upu, third base woman. Right down Main Street, swings over the top of it. Swings in the next pitch, looking to be aggressive here is Upu.
No disguising her intent, but just the execution not quite there on that pitch. Good.
Defensively for Westlake. Change of pace, just misses. If we get a shot from our high camera, could just show how close the outfield is set here. Obviously a tactic from head coach Fergus McAlpine. If they hit it over your head, they deserve it, but we don't want anything falling in between the infield and the outfield.
Exactly, and Fergus will know, like all good coaches, that there's more hits go into those gaps than go over your head. So percentage-wise, that's the way to play.
You can see the right fielder is almost playing a deep second base. Centre field in that far shot there, you can see how close she is as well. And if you pan around to look at the left fielder, you can see how close she is.
And really, you want them at the sort of the depth of their arm, if you like, so where they can make a throw to home plate on the full to get the runner coming in from 3.
Good pitch by Graham. Picks up the second out on the inside edge. So 2 away now. Graham's like I don't need you to see how close my outfielders are. I'll just strike them out instead.
And she's getting better, as we've said.
First pitch is high. Remember back in the first innings, they'd given up 3 runs. Jane Lee, the first basewoman, came over to Charlotte Graham and they had a bit of a conversation there. The 2 senior veterans in the team. And a change of pace is good. That little conversation worked a charm, didn't it?
Yeah, it certainly seems to. And I was just thinking that they're probably benefiting, those 2 in particular, of playing at the clubs, in the clubs. So they're bringing that experience back into this level, and that's what you want.
1 ball and 2 strikes now, the count. Tyler Graham, the catcher, ground ball to Seymour. Throw is right on the dime, and a slap of the glove by Graham as she runs off the diamond. I tell you what, we need to get a couple of shots. You can see Graham on the right-hand side there. We talked about her being a pivotal member of this team. Jaya Lee's on the top of the screen here on the far side. They are composed. Look at that team. They're tight, aren't they? There's a big reason they're locked up at 3-3 all in the grand final.
You can just see they've got their tails up. They getting back into the game, tying it up, and getting out of that inning back. Good stuff. Great confidence boosting for them.
Well, that'll do us through the bottom of the 5th innings. Top of the 6th coming up. 3-all.
For all the best throwbacks, 90s and more.
Welcome back, no more Haramai, to continued coverage here of a super tight grand final between Westlake Girls and One Tree Hill. Trying to climb the mountain to a national championship. I'm Jason Hughes, OK Chopper. Tony Smith joining me in the booth. This game's had a bit of everything. Do you expect it to be this close?
Yes, I kind of didn't. I thought it would be close, just the way that Westlake were building. Obviously, take away that first day result, bit of an aberration in the weather, and but they've just been building into their work, so it's been great. It's particularly after a relatively one-sided boys final. It's been good to see a real tight game that's going to go right down to the last inning, and at this stage you wouldn't be putting your house on either side. Both have got great opportunities to win this game.
It seems like it's one of those finals looking to go right to the wire. However, the storyline isn't written yet. These 2 teams, they've surprised us. That first innings, it felt like One Tree Hill were going to run away with this one and finish it in 3 or 4 innings. But Westlake said, no, we want the title too. And it's top of the order now. Charlotte Graham will lead off here in the 6th innings. Should be followed by Talia Hurley and Kalani Mariner, 1, 2, and 3.
And really, Skylar Breeze, Joyce needs to put that last inning behind her, and just this is a fresh start.
I'm super impressed with Joyce from One Tree Hill, and there's a big reason what you just said. Her ability to bounce back and perform when her team needs her the most. That's a great strikeout.
Yep, definitely, and both pitchers have displayed that in this game.
Talia Hurley now, centre fielder for Westlake. It's had a good day at the batter's box. She's ready to go here. Joyce. Big swing on a big pitch. Joyce has found another gear. Tony, you can see there, can't you?
Yeah, she's definitely stepped up. And what the Westlake hitters now have to do is avoid her getting into too much of a groove.
Really fights this one off to stay alive in the match. You can see the whittle has been set though. The challenge has been set for both teams. One Tree Hill offensively put one against Charlotte Graham. She's responded. Westlake have just laid theirs to Joyce. And in this innings, Joyce has responded, hasn't it?
Yep, definitely. And probably a bit of pitch strategy here. She seems to be throwing up a bit more to some of these smaller hitters rather than risking the down and low and straying into the ball zone.
Definitely got one of those storylines which you just don't know how it's going to end here. 1 and 2 strikes now the count. One away in the top of the 6th innings. Hurley still smiling. Joyce ready to rock and roll. Comes down and flipped inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes level count now.
Good at bat here by Hurley, making her work for every strike she's getting.
Tree Hill have been fantastic in the field. Third basewoman Jessie Lee Upu on the screen just before. She's been outstanding. Seen some good plays in the hot corner. And a high pitch. And a little bit of patience. We saw that last innings from Westlake pay dividends as they'll get a base runner down to first base on the walk.
And Kalani Mariner, who made base last time and had that spectacular slide into third base.
Didn't she? What a character. Smiling at second base, sliding at third base, and hands were reached up. Pick me up, coach. Pick me up. She watches the first pitch, and I think you're right. Last innings, the kind of team plan was take your time. You can see her just biding her time here a little. No pitch. You mentioned that they'd kind of changed their strategy to go with a couple of high pitches. I think if a high pitch to the likes of Kalani Mariner, it could be very dangerous.
Yeah, they've gone, and quite understandably, they're going down low to her, which makes sense. But some of those smaller hitters with the, just try and beat
hard
the
hit
pace.
ball from Mariner. This is trouble with a capital T. Off the glove at centre field. Running to the corner now is Hurley. Mariner will go to second, and just like that, in the blink of an eye, 2 runners in scoring position for the girls from Westlake.
Great effort there by Savannah Lee Farrer in centre field to try and get to that ball. Didn't quite get there, but the runner didn't need to tag up then and was able to advance to 3.
Kalani Mariner, a fantastic job with a drive to centre field, a double. And now, J.R. Lee, third basewoman. In my mind, the way that Charlotte Graham has beared down, if Lee can pop this in a galley somewhere, this could be the winning hit. Big swing.
She's certainly not going to keep anyone guessing.
No.
And that's what you want.
You
she's in that clean-up slot for a reason.
Yeah,
and,
back yourself.
Yeah, with that comes the attendant risk sometimes of a strikeout, but you want to have your clean-up hitter swinging hard.
Slow ground ball, backhand for Graham, looking to go home, and they will grab the lead, Westlake. Mariner will go to 3. Lee and on the throw to 3. No way! Mariner scores. Westlake shock One Tree Hill here in the top of the 6th innings. 5 runs to 3.
And Westlake take the lead for the first time in the game, and that's really gutsy play by the team from the North Shore of Auckland.
with only one out, a shortstop for One Tree who only really had one play there. Try and keep the game locked at 3 apiece. Pressure, and look at Mariner, takes the invite, she's off. We've seen her slide already. Here's another one. Oh, the catcher for Westlake's having a day.
As soon as that throw went back into the infield, she was off. And I'm sure that she got the message there from Coach McAlpine, you're going in all the way.
It's about instincts. It's about chancing her arm. It's about being yourself, and you can see Kalani Mariner. She smashes the ball into the outfield. She runs with flair. She loves the game and not afraid to get dirty on the slide.
Yep.
And now, well, she's crossed home plate twice here in the grand final. Here's a replay of it now.
And while we were saying that, Jaya Lee would be swinging away hard, in that case she actually choked up the bat and just went to put the ball into play. Shortstop had to go slightly to the backhand and appeared to palm the ball a wee bit. So all those little things can just give you the edge.
Big play. You talked about Jaya Lee, one of the senior members. A couple of big moments for her in this grand final. The bottom of the first inning, she goes over to her year 13 counterpart, Charlotte Graham, on the hill and says, hey, it's okay. We've got a long way to go here. Couple of jokes, couple of smiles. Settled things down. Charlotte's been on fire on the hill since. She's just struck out twice in a row, Jaya Lee, on a change-up. And now she makes the adjustment, as you said, choking up a little, knowing I put my own ego aside, it's the team first, and just makes contact, makes something happen. That's a great senior knock. You can see Jaya Lee on the screen there. Well done, the year 13 from Westlake.
And I think in that situation, what Westlake are doing, let's just put the ball into play and create the confusion, if you like, and that's what they did. So they caught One Tree Hill in two minds about where to make that play. Are we going for the lead runner? Are we trying to get the out? And they were able to capitalise, and they forced them into a pitching change.
They sure did indeed. This pitching change brought to you by Ballpark Broadcasting. We're back with more action here live from the grand final. The top of the sixth, Westlake leading 5-3. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The grand final are underway, top of the sixth innings. And after 100 pitches from Skylar Breeze Joyce, we will make a pitching change here. And that pitching change, as we see the bunt go down and go foul, forced upon them from Westlake, scoring 3 runs in the fifth. Sorry, 2 runs in the fifth, apologies. And now 2 runs in the sixth, so 4 runs over 2 innings. And make the change. The centre fielder will come into pitch here. Savannah Lee Farah will take over on the hill.
And she's been outstanding in centre field, so she fires the ball over.
One, Lee is over to third base on the play.
So good work in their new positions there by Savannah Lee Farah on the mound. Takes the out over to first base where Skylar Breeze Joyce, the starting pitcher, is fielding. And she fired it over to 3 to keep the runner honest.
Interesting moment too here in the grand final. Savannah Lee Farah was the pitcher on day 1 against Westlake. Remember that matchup on day 1, One Tree Hill beat Westlake 15 runs to 5. However, there was a slight difference in that day to today, Tony. Any ideas?
Slight climatic difference.
It was about 2 degrees. The wind was howling. There was icicles falling from clouds and all sorts of things going on. Today, as you can see, is a beautiful day. A new day, a grand final, Westlake leading 2 runs to nil.
It's days like that where the teams from Southland and Otago say, what are you complaining about?
Yeah. Fair enough too. Two away here. Hope Weller. And this one comes in, just clips Weller's cleats. She'll go down to first base. So runners in the corners now. Westlake, they're not finished with this innings, are they?
No, Coach McAlpine making a change here by the look of it.
It sure is indeed. Looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter into the ball game for Westlake. And into bat for Neve Cadnis Aspinall. We've seen her do this a number of times throughout the tournament as well. Number 12, Philippa Ovu. Big top of the sixth innings here for Westlake. First pitch to Ovu. He's down in the middle of the zone. We saw in the semi-final last night against Rose Hill, Ovu came in for a pinch hit as well. Whipped one down third base just like that. Now this one goes foul and gets safe at first. You should have seen the dugout. They were ecstatic at that moment for Ovu. And then later on in the innings, he comes around to score.
That's right, yeah.
She's got the potential. And Ovu down low, looking to try and beat it out, but a fantastic play by the replacement pitcher of Farah from close in the infield. That'll stop Westlake in the top of the sixth innings. Took a pitching change. It also took 2 more runs. They lead 5 runs to 3. You can see them sliding and running at will. One Tree Hill need to regather here. Can they do it, Tony?
Oh, absolutely. You know, they can come back. I mean, they're going to have to show some of that aggression they showed in the first inning, but this game is not beyond their reach. They had 2 innings to really nail it down and win their first title.
Sure, right there. One Tree Hill have won this title many a times. Westlake putting their best foot forward. Who knows how this one will, bottom of the 6th, come up next. Balls are banging on the roof here because it's go time for the top. Apologies, bottom of the 6th innings. And we see it go down, and the throw is over the top. Oh, looks like you had 2 girls backing up that throw then.
If they want it, you know, it's good play though by One Tree.
It is indeed.
And now they're making a change.
Out here in the field, needing to make a change here is One Tree Hill themselves. One Tree Hill know that for them, just the same as Westlake, this is their time right now, isn't it?
Yep, it's no change actually. I think they're leaving Lee Rose Pin in there. I'm not sure what the conversation was, but she's the starting.
They're just trying to trick you off and races. The tag, the slide is bang, bang, head first, the helmet, the dedication. It's all out the window. One Tree Hill throwing everything at the grand final.
Great slide by Tui Panui. So what's happened here basically is Lily Rose Pin has come into the DP role. She was the flex player, but she's now batting at the number 9 slot.
There you go. Nicely spotted. The experience of Tony Smith here in the booth. His knowledge of the game is second to none. As we see that pitch come on the outside edge. Charlotte Graham has really blossomed through this match, hasn't she?
She has. She picks up another strikeout to a tally from the fouled third strike bunt.
One down here in the bottom of the 6th innings.
Yeah, she looks almost imperturbable out there now, Charlotte Graham, after that first inning sort of wake-up call.
Imperturbable.
Yeah, she's...
Please explain what that word means to me.
Well, basically nothing phases her.
Ah.
You know, she's sort of kind of, just pressure. What pressure? Yeah.
What pressure?
Imperturbable.
Imperturbable. Try and say that 3 times fast. We've got a guest coming in the innings break from St. Pat's Silverstream. It'll be Jericho Wharehanga. And we'll ask him how to pronounce that name when he comes in. That should be a bit of humour as well. Well, plenty of humour here, plenty of action as well. 2 strikes on the batter, 1 away. As the replacement pitcher, Savannah Lee Farah, flies her trade here in the grand final. Charlotte Graham continues to grind on the hill for Westlake. She grinds it through the zone. Another big strikeout from the big redhead from the North Shore.
It's, I think, about 4 strikeouts in the last 2 innings for Charlotte Graham, so she's actually on a real roll here. And we talked about that before, about as hitters trying to break that pitcher's sort of flow and momentum. Once they get into the groove, they're very hard to stop.
Sure are indeed. One Tree Hill. They do have a runner in scoring position here at second base. That scoring position means a hit through the infield. Normally the runner from 2 will score on the play, and if that happens, we're a 1-run ball game. We talked about this earlier. 2 runs can be erased in a heartbeat, can't it, Tony?
Yeah, absolutely. And they're giving themselves every opportunity.
Hard hit ball, looking for a gap, and they'll find a gap. It dunks in, but the runner had to hold just in case they caught the ball. And she'll now go to 2 on the play. So heads up base running from One Tree Hill. This puppy's not over, that's for sure, Tony.
No, absolutely not. And like basically 1 swing of the bat now from tying the ball game.
Kia kaha, kia maia, kia manua nui, piharo. The courage, resilience and determination of the Lamprey Eel. It's amazing what these skills, what type of courage, what resilience, what determination they bring to this great game of Poiuka softball. He's in the bat here is Sky Weatherly. Weatherly's been good. She was one of those batters that drove in a run in the bottom of the first innings. She simply knows how to get her done.
Yep, now playing centre field with that pitching switch.
Just misses outside. Rory Seymour, third baseman for Westlake. She's been brilliant in the grand final.
Yeah, she's hoovered up everything hit in her direction.
Like a Dyson vacuum cleaner, not even a sponsor, and they get a mention. But we have got some great sponsors here. Caltex, Good Sport. Competition is running here this week for a character, a person, a player. It's simply a good sport. There's a great prize for them in the prize giving after the conclusion of this grand final. Bailey's, they're going to look after someone as well. I see Good Sport from Caltex. So we see the walk issued. down, and that'll load the bases here with 2 outs.
And that's exactly what One Tree needed, was to put that pressure back onto Charlotte Graham and load the sacks. And now there's more pressure on.
More pressure indeed. New Zealand Carbon Farming put together a prize for the completion of this one about being sustainable. Some stories around that, and that should be presented at the prize giving as well. Caltex, Bailey's, New Zealand Carbon Farming doing a great job. Other key sponsors for the New Zealand Sports Club of Kato Māori, of course, Pure Athletic. Great to have their work, their support of this great game of Poiuka softball here at the National Championship. Loaded bases, first pitch is up. Tiana Graham, the shortstop. She's been putting her hand up for an MVP honours of the grand final. Been great on both sides of the ball, Tony, with the bat and the glove.
Absolutely, yep. And there's a few candidates actually in this game.
This one comes through, just misses on the inside edge. 1-1 now. 2 away. Westlake just in and out to get away from this loaded bases jam. Big moment here for One Tree Hill in the grand final. Trailing by 2. It's in on the hands, looking for a gap, and they'll find it. 1 comes in, looking for the tying run. That'll come in, and One Tree Hill on the back of the inspirational Tiana Graham, the shortstop from One Tree Hill. They'll high-five each other. Guess what, baby? We're all locked up at 5 apiece.
Yeah, isn't it a great game? I mean, it's sort of real ebb and flow, cat and mouse, and it's not over.
Did we expect anything less? Look at this replay. Gritty determination from Graham. They dunk it in, trying to get the ball in early. The runners will move up. 2 bases each. It's a clutch play. A clutch play by Graham, the shortstop. Skylar Breeze, the original starting pitcher, will get walked down to first base intentionally. So, loaded bases again.
Still, yeah.
It'll be Jessie Lee Upu up to bat. She plated 2 runs back in the first innings. A big hit here could be the winning hit for Upu. And maybe that makes her the MVP, Tony. The options are plentiful.
That's right, exactly, yeah. I think we'll have to wait right to the wire before deciding that one, Chopper, but
bottom of the 6th innings, outstanding. Just like the top. 2 runs to Westlake, 2 runs to One Tree Hill. Seesaw battle. Third base, and can't get the outs. Seymour with 2 down here, trying to get the runner at third base, not worried about first base. And a little bit of that pressure sneaks in. One Tree Hill grabbed the lead, 6 runs to 5.
I guess that's where you need the call. Someone calling, where to make the play.
Communication. Sometimes moments like that and speeds up a bit, doesn't it, Tony?
Yeah, it would have speeded up the reaction of the shortstop going over the cover. It was the right option in terms of getting that third out, but
it looks like we've got a pinch hitter coming into the ball game. I'm going to check that for you. No, Tyler Graham, and maybe out on the base pass. We'll try and pick that up for you as we spot it. Out there will be Tyler Graham, the catcher that will bat next. And I think you might have heard this before, Tony. It's loaded bases for One Tree Hill.
Yeah. And
5 runs have scored in the 6th inning. 2 to Westlake, 3 to One Tree Hill so far in the grand final. Pitch.
And now they've got their nose in front. Big decision coming up. Do you re-enter the starting pitcher, Skylar Breeze-Joyce?
Well,
it's something that they'll certainly be considering, I think, at the moment.
Brains Trust inside the One Tree Hill camp. Bob Mitchell, Brian Faunt have been involved with the program for a very, very long time. Starley handing over the reins to the lovely ladies there out there on the diamond doing the coaching. 2 strikes, 3, and you're done. And back to the dugout. That'll complete the bottom of the 6 innings. But boy, oh boy, it's Tiana Graham again that gives them the lead here. 6 runs to 5. One Tree Hill leading the grand final. More action in the top of the 7th. The last innings. Or will it be the last innings?
Wow, that's true, yeah.
We'll find out when we come back.
Great to see a final decided by a tiebreaker.
Cliffhanger, 6-5, One Tree Hill, slender lead. Back soon. Kia ora koutou katoa. It is the 7th innings. It's where dreams are made and moments in history are etched. Westlake trailing by 1 run to a very resilient One Tree Hill, who've won this national title many, many times. Tony Smith in the booth with me here. The grand final has been above expectation.
Absolutely, it's ebbed, it's flowed. It's just when you thought one team might have the edge, the other one's come back, and great to see One Tree Hill placing faith in their relief pitcher. Savannah Lee Farah is still on the mound. They've resisted the temptation to go back to Skylar Breeze Joyce.
This one fouls up. 2 straight strikes here for Westlake in the 7th innings. They'll send up. Looks like they are going to bat Lily Rose Pinn in the 9 spot. She's been entered into the game. I'm just going to double check that.
So effectively 3 outs of the game, Chopper.
No, it's the other way around. Tanisha Murray, of course, is batting here first. And she is, opportunity. She runs it out enough, just enough, and down to first base. She'll be followed by Rory Seymour and Charlotte Graham, 1, 2, 3. As I mentioned, we've got a special guest joining us in the booth here from the national champion high school out of the Hut. That is St. Pat's Silverstream. It is Jericho Wharehinga joining us. Kia ora, Jerry, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Dude, tell me, climbing the mountain, getting to the top of all of the kura, ngā kura across Aotearoa, all the schools across this great country, and finishing at the top of that mountain, what does it feel like?
Feels pretty good. National winners. I don't think we've been here before, so it's good to come out and get the win for the boys.
Started at the bottom, but now we're here.
Now we're here at the top.
There you.
Feels pretty good.
Nice. Mate, what were a couple of things that really made this week memorable, not just for yourself, but the whole team here at St. Pat's Silverstream?
I reckon just coming back after our tough loss yesterday, that was pretty good. And then just coming back and fighting hard this morning. The boys really turned up to play, and I'm proud of them for that. So.
Well, you should be proud of them, but what makes you excited, Jericho? Because I can hear it in your voice. You're almost jumping out of the chair.
Yeah, well, I like to get rowdy in the batter's box. I like supporting my team, and really get excited when one of the boys get a good hit.
Nice. Well, we see Murray going down to second base here. Westlake, I've got a chance here. We can see just in a replay from the earlier game, your helmet with that Māori art on there. Tell us a little bit about it. Why have you got that?
Well, I'm Māori, so that makes a little bit of sense, but I'm really in touch with my Māori side, and I like repping my culture, and yeah.
Fantastic.
I
Tell
like
me,
taking that wherever I go.
St. Pat's Silverstream, before you get on the aeroplane tonight to fly back to Wellington, how do you celebrate?
Probably get a big feed. Probably get something to eat before we go on the plane, but yeah, probably take a photo here.
Nice. Oh, well, you know what? Congratulations, mate. It's not an easy feat to become national champion. You've done it. Your team has done it. You had to come the hard way, and you are now the secondary schools national champion for 2023. Jericho Wharehainga, that is good.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming in, young man. We'll see you next time. And, of course, St. Pat's.
Yeah, well
sure
done.
We'll see them at the next grand final. Well, back to the action here in the 7th innings. Charlotte Graham. She will look to try and tie this puppy up again. One away here. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
How often in this game, Chopper, have we seen the lead runner getting on base, and that's been critical really to the comebacks by these teams, whether it be by a hit, whether it be by a walk or an error, and they're making the most of their opportunities.
Savannah Lee Farah came in the 6 innings of relief on the hill, continues to work here for One Tree Hill. Ball is low. A lead by 1 run here, 2 outs. One Tree Hill are national champions. That's how close we are to the conclusion of this one. Charlotte Graham, I'm sure she's got other things on her mind. Hard hurt ball, it's in the air though. And just out of play, almost clicked at our camera woman at first base, Tara Collier. She's been fantastic.
Excellent, yeah, great camera work and good angles, and they'll be enjoying the weather out there a bit more than they can early in the week. So, you know, full ups to the camera people and all the staff here actually at this tournament.
And some patience and resilience pays off here for Graham as she'll head down to first base. So 2 runners on now for Westlake. They need 1 run to tie here in the top of the 7th innings, 2 to grab the lead.
And importantly for them too, it means that Kalani Mariner's on deck, you know, so, and Jaya Leader follows, so they've got their power hitters coming up.
Hurley will take that one inside for a ball. Hurley's had a great day at the box, a couple of walks, being real fastidious with the strike zone. By the way, Tony, I couldn't do it. I couldn't get you to ask Jericho how to pronounce that word. I mean, I think it's bad enough Chopper can't pronounce it. Introduce a new word to me next time we work together. I like it a lot. And this one comes through. 2 balls and 1 strike now on Hurley. Hurley, ready, bunters down, surprise. But it is a foul, and I tell you what, if that stays fair, no one gets it.
That's right, it was certainly worth a go. Unorthodox for this situation of the game, but
2 balls and 2 strikes now. Murray running at second base. Graham running at first base. Needing 1 run, Westlake. Big swing, big pitch.
Wow.
And a great delivery through the top of the zone here from Farah, the replacement pitcher. Now, in the blink of an eye, One Tree Hill are 1 out away from a national title.
And it's real precious stuff here because up comes Kalani Mariner, probably the most dangerous hitter in this Westlake team.
Has had real good contact as Mariner, as well as Lee.
There's a bit of a conference going on here by the defensive side.
One Tree Hill. Don't be surprised if they try a pick-off play here. Try and catch someone napping on the base to win a national title. Here we go. One out needed. The trophy sitting on the mantelpiece. The first pitch is just below the zone. Kalani Mariner. As you mentioned, the catcher, Kai Hopu, has been banging it all over the place. That one comes through, levels the count now, 1-1. You can feel the tension. Slow roller, is the title there?
And that's the game.
One Tree Hill hold the medal, hold their composure. They show why they've won so many national championships. It's jumping for joy. It's a dog pole. It's a 6-5 win in the grand final for 2023 to One Tree Hill.
And they've just gone through the tournament unbeaten with that result, and that's definitely their toughest game of the day. So congratulations to Westlake, first-time finalists, and what a great ball game we've seen here. If that's the future of New Zealand women's softball, we've got a lot to be looking forward to. And so One Tree Hill, that's their first title as One Tree Hill, and their third final as One Tree Hill, but going back to their days as Penrose High, that's now their fourth national title, which places them third on the most titles list, behind Auckland Girls Grammar and Wellington East Girls College, who both have 8 titles.
Well, the history tells you that One Tree Hill have the composure. They have the team morale. But you've got to be said, these young rangatahi from the North Shore, Westlake, put their best foot forward today. It was a fantastic match. I'm going to come to you for the Ballpark Broadcasting Player of the Match shortly. Westlake got it off started. Jarlee bangs it around in the top of the first innings. Then, in the bottom of the first innings, One Tree Hill say, not on our watch. Weatherly and Upu banging 3 runs for them. Outstanding work. Fast forward to the 5th innings. Top of the 5th innings, Westlake wake up the bats. They score 2 runs there to lock this puppy up. Top of the 6th, they grab the lead. Looking really good. Momentum shift. Charlotte Graham's throwing well on the hill. One Tree Hill find a way. They find a way. They score 3 runs at the bottom of the 6th innings, and that does it. That does it. That gives a national championship to One Tree Hill here for 2023 in Ōtautahi. 6 runs to 5 over Westlake. Ballpark Broadcasting Player of the Match.
Well, it's a tough call because there's been so many players in this game that have contributed, including some on the runner-up team. But there's 2 players, I guess, that stand out for me in the One Tree Hill side, and that is Savannah Lee Farrer, who's the starting centre fielder, who made an excellent catch, shoestring catch in the outfield, who got a rocket arm, and then she came in and, as the relief pitcher, showed a lot of composure, got a strikeout, and got the win. But I guess you have to go to Tiana Graham, the shortstop, who has been largely immaculate in the field and punched in that hit that drove in a couple of runs in that critical inning where they finally got back into the lead. So I'd go for Tiana Graham, their chopper. But as I said, it's a tough call. There's a lot of players stood out. Among them, Charlotte Graham, who really, with her pitching display today, did not deserve to be on the runner-up side.
Oh, there you go. It started with a whittle, a haka, led by the inspirational players on the team. There's, you can see, Loma Weatherly leading that haka, the whittle. But Savannah Lee Farrer, the replacement pitcher, will be the Ballpark Broadcasting MVP of the grand final. MVP of the grand final. She gets her done here as she supports her team efficiently. Sorry, Tiana Graham it was, of course.
Oh wait, I can go this way.
Efficiently, defensively, and also offensively to get her done. So the starting pitcher for One Tree Hill, it is number 5, Tiana Graham. She is your MVP of the grand final. Well, we're going to duck away for a commercial break here and come back for more analysis on this great tournament so far. And after that, we'll get a chance to talk a little bit about the prize giving that's about to happen. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon with more action here live from Ōtautahi Dynasty Ballpark. Oh, welcome back. Hey, my hara mai. Tēnei rā. Whiti o te rā. Look at the beautiful sky out there. Well, it is grand finals. They're all done and dusted for 2023 here in Ōtautahi, Christchurch. Dynasty Ballpark has been outstanding. The new turf has been fantastic and it's really done well. Let's have a look at the girls, how they all got through here. The two finalists first. Westlake at the bottom of the calendar. They had that early drop to One Tree Hill, 5-15, but they really bounced back after that, didn't it? 10 runs to 1 against Rolleston. We're going to come back to that. Kaipoi 8-5. Oh, no, sorry, that's the 12-3 over Rose Hill. Big match-up last night between those two teams, wasn't it?
That's right. There were two tough games, really, for Westlake against Rose Hill, and I think that's what gave them the kind of confidence and momentum. They got through that game 12-3 in the round robin and backed it up with a similar scoreline in the semi-final. So they went into that game, I think, brimming with confidence. 24 runs against a pretty good team in Rose Hill. So that gave them really the belief that they could take the game to One Tree Hill College.
Fantastic. And it does give them the belief indeed. Now, if we go the other side of it, One Tree Hill ended up being the national champions. Looking at their results on the week, they had a real tight one against Rolleston, 8-7. They were challenged.
Yeah, Rolleston have got a good side, and they performed quite well in the local competition in their grade, so well drilled. But then they got that great win, 12-0 against Kaipoi. I'm not sure if Kaipoi did have Mackenzie Bailey McDowell on the mound in that game. Possibly not, but still. If you look at the points at the runs, so that's 18, 31, 46 runs for in their round-robin games, and they're unbeaten through the tournament. You can't really argue with that. So
you cannot argue with that whatsoever. The grand final was a nail-biter, where the score changed multiple times between One Tree Hill and Westlake girls. I'm not going to say the boys' final wasn't a great one because of the score line, but the girls just had everything, didn't it?
Absolutely, and it was just great the way Westlake went right from the start, scored, and that's what you want to do. If you go into the final as the underdog against the unbeaten team, you want to get the first run. And then, completely undeterred, One Tree Hill came back with 3 runs, and then it became cat and mouse, ebb and flow for the rest of the game, until eventually in that 6th inning where One Tree Hill got the edge. Game of fine margins. There were a couple of plays there which could have gone the defensive way, and we might still be playing. It might still be an extra innings job.
Extra innings indeed. For you, what were some of the moments in the 2022 National Softball Secondary Rules Championship that really stood out?
Oh, I think the enthusiasm of the teams, the fact that you can see their love of the game. It just absolutely is evident in the way they play, the way they, the haka, the cheering in the dugouts, and there's just some great athletic talent in this game. And one of the things that really encouraged me was seeing the quality of coaches here too. When you see people like Craig Wallace, who's coached St Patrick's Silverstream to their first title, recently coaching Denmark at the Men's World Cup. Fergus McAlpine with Westlake girls about to go to the under-23 Men's World Cup with the national side. So that's the calibre of coaching you're getting into these young, really enthusiastic athletes. They're only going to get better and better. And I just encourage anyone in softball to get to this tournament next year because it's one of the highlights of the season.
Well, we're not far away from the prize giving. The athletes are out there though, and I tell you what, a couple of these athletes that really stood out to me, you can see them on screen here in a moment. There's One Tree Hill just over on the left side of the field. You look at them getting ready there for the prize giving. They're looking outstanding. Really doing a good job here, the One Tree Hill team. We'll get a couple of the players on camera shot for you shortly. And the administrators are almost ready to go here with the prize giving. I'll tell you what, I've really enjoyed this one.
Absolutely, it's been a great finals day. I mean, a culmination of a challenging week for these players, with the weather, but they've hung in and produced two finals very worthy of the occasion.
And I tell you what, the one thing that was cool for me is the weather, how it turned itself on. It really was nice in the end there, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
A warm welcome to you all.
Well, here we go.
It's been an honour to be part of the team that's put this event together, and joining me to help acknowledge and celebrate your success, we've got from Bailey's, William Wallace, Carl Jackson from Waddell & Associates, Marie Byrne, the chair of CSA board, Shah Poaka, Softball New Zealand board member, Tony Giles, Softball New Zealand CEO, and Danielle Richardson on my left, who is the ops manager and tournament organiser. My name is Cheryl Kemp and I work for Softballers in Canterbury. We'll hear from some of these people shortly, but before we proceed, I'd like to extend a few tournament thank yous and acknowledgements. Especially an integral part of any event is the umpires and scorers, and I'm delighted to announce that Rochelle Aubrey from Ashburton has reached her level 3 qualification. A particularly special thank you and acknowledgement to Hawley, our groundsman, who has just reached his 277th tournament. And with the introduction of the new infields, this was his last tournament and will be retiring. So a magic effort, Hawley, and rest well and thank you. Thanks to the rest of my team, Daniel, Anthea, Gary, and those volunteers that have helped throughout the week. It's been magic to have you on board. To Eugene Gilbert, the New Zealand STR, and the Chief Umpire Dave Beaumont and Chief Scorer Pat Hanna, your help throughout these events make it very special for everybody. Thank you. I'd also like to make a special shout out to Jason Gerbies and the team from Whakata Māori and Ballpark Broadcasting. What a great job you've done for the last 3 days. Thank you. And a special thanks to all the coaches, the managers and the parents. We appreciate it's a short window that you've got to work in. But finally, to the talented softballers we have at the park this week, congratulations and well done. Thank you for entertaining us and for your mahi to get here. You're an absolute credit to your schools and thankfully to our sport. Well done. I'd now like to invite Tony Giles to the microphone.
Tēnā koutou tātou, ko Tony Tokawingawa, ko mātua poiuka Aotearoa ahau. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Pleasure to be here in the beautiful, sunny Christchurch at the Canterbury Softball Association for the National Secondary School Championships. Congratulations to all the schools that took part. Tremendous softball across the last week. Congratulations to the finalists in both the girls and the boys events. Tremendous ball on display. A credit to all of you. Thank you. I just wanted to acknowledge all of our wonderful partners, sponsors and friends of the game that have made this event possible. It's been a pleasure to work alongside the Canterbury Softball Association. And folks, I just wanted to acknowledge a couple of people. You've just heard from Cheryl Kemp here, the leader of the Canterbury Softball Association. For the past 31 years, she has been a friend of the game, a mentor to so many, and is also celebrating her 277th tournament. She's an incredible person, an incredible leader, and Cheryl, I thank you for everything you have done for our game. Thank you. I also wanted to acknowledge a close colleague and friend of mine who's been behind the scenes this week, has been in our organisation for many, many years and has just delivered his 14th consecutive National Secondary School Championships. All of you know the big man, Eugene Gilbert, has been tremendous. He's communicated with all of your schools, has been a friend to all of you, and he's just been an incredible colleague and friend to us at Softball New Zealand. Eugene, we thank you. And again, we wish all the teams a safe journey home. Thank you for being part of our great game. Softball is just a wonderful sport that brings so many people and whānau together. We really appreciate you. Safe home, and I'm glad you enjoyed the week. Thank you. Kia ora.
Thanks, Tony. And now on to the everything that people have been waiting for, the presentations themselves. If I could ask Carl Jensen just to come forward, and we'll present the Caltex Good Sports Award. And that goes to the Southland boys coach Max Moyles. If we have anybody here from Southland, if you could come and uplift that on their behalf. We'll get that to them, Carl. I suspect they had a long drive home. If we could still have you out here, Carl, we'll look at the New Zealand Carbon Farming, the Players Sports Award, and this year goes to Ashburton College. Just that envelope there, thanks. If we could have somebody from Ashburton, please. Well done. Thank you, Ashburton. And if we could have the Bailey's representatives up here, please. The $500 travel award goes to St Bernard's College. If we have anybody here from St Bernard's. We'll get photos anyway, shall we? You can just turn around.
Take it back, thank you. We'll get it to a team to bring back to them.
Okay, shall we get a photo?
Get a photo,
please. Thank you.
Just come together there. Just come together there.
And we'll ask Shapawaka to come forward and do the girls' presentations. Shapawaka, Softball New Zealand board member and Olympian softballer. Presenting the runner-up Div 2 girls, Riccarton. Well done. And the 2023 Div 2 champions, Avonside Girls. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have some pretty sensitive time issues on travel, so we are going to leapfrog a little to the other side with the Div 1 boys, and we are going to start with the champions, St Patrick's College, Silverstream. And if we could get William to come through and help with the presentations of that, thank you. Oh, Carl, thank you. Having their team photo taken. We'll also announce the individual awards for the Div 1 boys. The top pitcher is Tyrese Kennedy with an ERA of 0.00. Outstanding for an event. Well done, Tyrese. If there's anybody from Southland. And the top batter, with 15 hits from 20 at-bats for an average of .750, George McCarroll from St Patrick's College. And whilst George is up here, we also have pleasure in announcing the tournament MVP for Div 1 boys, also George McCarroll from St Patrick's College. Safe travels, people. And well done. We'll stay with the Div 1 boys if we can, and that is ask the runners-up, Alfredson College, to come forward. Well done. Thank you and congratulations. So if we could ask Shah to return to the podium, thank you. We'll work to the Div 2 girls and the team most valuable players that are selected by each team from Dunstan High, Matey Hill. From Ashburton College, Briar Clark and Tia Double. From Avonside High, Madison Dysart and Sidel Samuelu. From Riccarton High, Tui Pau and Anahira Elgar. Southland Girls, Ashley Roberts and Katie Wallace. And from Queen's High, Amber Robinson. Congratulations all. And I'm sure you'll all agree we were treated to an absolutely wonderful final on the Div 1 girls. Congratulations to both teams. We'd ask the runners-up for 2023, Westlake High, please. And the 2023 champion Div 1 girls team, One Tree Hill.
Sky! 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 What's the sponsor's name? You said the sponsor one. It's always a big challenge to play, guys. It's always really close, but you guys are definitely one team to beat. Won't lie about that. And we also just want to thank our sponsors, Frequency, NZ Community Trust, as well as Pub Charity, because if it wasn't for them, we definitely would not be here and going home with this. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And as we go to the individual awards for Div 1 girls, an unusual situation for top batter of 2 with exactly the same average of .667 goes to Temaroma Weatherly from One Tree Hill and Tui Van Pelt from Kaiapoi. Well done. Thank you. And the top pitcher from Westlake, Charlotte Graham. Joyce. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the award presentations for 2023. Congratulations to everybody that was involved. I hope you've enjoyed your time in Otatahi. We look forward to welcoming you back again. Safe travels home. Thank you.
Well, there you go. Put a towel on it, put a bow on it. It is One Tree Hill who are the national champions here, as you'll see them line up to salute their supporters in a fantastic atmosphere here. It's been a bit of everything this week. It's been a bit of everything. Why not finish it on a haka? One Tree Hill, St. Pat Silverstream, they are your 2023 national champions, Tony Smith.
That's absolutely right. This has been indicative of the exuberance shown here all week, and what a great way to finish it off. So great closing ceremony, and nice to hear some tributes being made to the Canterbury officials, Ian Hall and Cheryl Kemp. 277 tournaments they've overseen. So fantastic work by them and their crew.
Fantastic indeed, and a celebration, a tribute and honour. That's what One Tree Hill have done to their management staff. Of course, Brian Ford, Bob Mitchell, outstanding indeed. Westlake, well, they get a silver medal, first time debuting at the First Division. They've got to be happy with that.
They'd be very happy with that. I think, like first time a North Harbour team has been in a final from memory, actually. So it's a fantastic achievement to build on, and it'll give, hopefully it'll create that culture within the school that, softball is a sport with mana that we want players to aspire to and come into this level. And one of the great things, Chopper, I thought in that closing ceremony was there was an award for top batter shared by Loma Weatherly, the captain of the winning One Tree Hill team, and a young player from Kaiapoi, Tui Van Pelt, with a .667 average. Tui, as far as I know, doesn't play Premier Softball yet, so that's indicative of the talent that gets exposed at this level, and you can see players of the future. And just on the sort of MVPs and awards note, the MVP of the boys tournament, George McCarroll, the winning pitcher from St. Pat Silverstream. He was also top batter. He was top batter with 15 hits and 20 at-bats, .750. I think that is a recorded average at a tournament.
Wow.
And it's 38 years after his dad, Grant, got top batter at this very same tournament, which, to me is the magic of the national secondary schools. The legacy, the pass it on, the kind of, the whānau tradition.
Well, it is. It's all tradition, and tradition can be done without great people and great volunteers. I want to thank the statistician, Vicky Griffiths, Pat Hanna, the chief scorer in this one, Dave Beaumont, he was the chief umpire in charge of all the great umpires we had here this week. The Canterbury Softball Association Ops Manager, Danielle Richardson, great to have her along. Cheryl Kemp did the prize giving at the end there for us from Canterbury Softball. Eugene Gilbert, Softball New Zealand delegate. Of course, Tony Giles, he's the boss at Softball New Zealand. And of course, the Ballpark Broadcasting joint with Atiawa Toa FM crew on this one, Kiri Makiri, Tara Collier, Carl McElroy, Vienna German, Tony Smith in commentary here in the grand final. Thank you for your time here with Ballpark Broadcasting. Caitlin Davidson, Paul de Rangifetu, he thought about coming. Maybe next time we'll see him. Ignacio Gatti, an outstanding job from him. Joe Farizo, Adrian Rules, and I couldn't do it without my sidekick, Damien, a.k.a. the Red Face, Don't worry about the red lace, Collins. And thank you so much for tuning in. We're all done here, done and dusted. It is St. Pat's Silverstream, the national champions of the boys division, and One Tree Hill. They've got the bling around their neck. They are national champions of secondary schools. On behalf of Whakaata Māori and Softball New Zealand, kia ora koutou katoa, ka kite anō, look after each other. You can feel the tension. Slow roller is the title there.
And that's the game.
One Tree Hill. Hold the medal, hold their composure. They show why they've won so many national championships. It's jumping for joy. It's a dog pole. It's a 6-5 win in the grand final for 2023 to One Tree Hill.
And they've just gone through the tournament unbeaten with that result, and that's definitely their toughest game of the day. So congratulations to Westlake, first-time finalists, and what a great ball game we've seen here. If that's the future of New Zealand women's softball, we've got a lot to be looking forward to. And so One Tree Hill, it's their first title as One Tree Hill, and their third final as One Tree Hill, but going back to their days as Penrose High, it's now their fourth national title, which places them third on the most titles list, behind Auckland Girls Grammar and Wellington East Girls College, who both have 8 titles.
Well, the history tells you that One Tree Hill have the composure. They have the team morale. But you've got to be said, these young rangatahi from the North Shore, Westlake, put their best foot forward today. It was a fantastic match. I'm going to come to you for the Ballpark Broadcasting Player of the match shortly. Westlake got it off started. Jarlee bangs it around in the top of the first innings. Then, in the bottom of the first innings, One Tree Hill say, not on our watch. Weatherly and Upu banging 3 runs for them. Outstanding work. Fast forward to the 5th innings, top of the 5th innings, Westlake wake up the bats. They score 2 runs there to lock this puppy up. Top of the 6th, they grab the lead. Looking really good. Momentum shift. Charlotte Graham's throwing well on the hill. One Tree Hill find a way. They find a way. They score 3 runs at the bottom of the 6th innings, and that does it. That does it. That gives a national championship to One Tree Hill here for 2023 in Ōtautahi. 6 runs to 5 over Westlake. Ballpark Broadcasting Player of the match.
Well, it's a tough call because there's been so many players in this game that have contributed, including some on the runner-up team. But there's 2 players, I guess, that stand out for me in the One Tree Hill side, and that is Savannah Lee Farrer, the starting centre fielder, who made an excellent catch, shoestring catch in the outfield, who got a rocket arm, and then she came in and, as the relief pitcher, showed a lot of composure, got a strikeout, and got the win. But I guess you have to go to Tiana Graham, the shortstop, who has been largely immaculate in the field and punched in that hit that drove in a couple of runs in that critical inning where they finally got back into the lead. So I'd go for Tiana Graham, their chopper. But as I said, it's a tough call. There's a lot of players stood out. Among them, Charlotte Graham, who really, with her pitching display today, did not deserve to be on the runner-up side.
Oh, there you go. It started with a whittle, a haka, led by the inspirational players on the team. There, as you can see, Loma Weatherly leading that haka, the whittle. But Savannah Lee Farrer, the replacement pitcher, will be the Ballpark Broadcasting MVP of the grand final. MVP of the grand final. She gets her done here.